So I know by the title of this video, you maybe thought I just completely stopped investing in the Pokemon altogether, just quit this whole thing. No, that's not really what I mean by this title. I've just stopped buying stuff. Recently, yeah, I have bought Prismatic Evolution stuff, but other than that, other than Prismatic, I can't remember the last thing I bought because it's been a long time. Because the prices for everything is just ridiculous, and the only reason why I even invested into Prismatic Evolutions is because when I thought about all the factors, it was the only product that, in my opinion, made sense to buy at their current prices. Because I feel like the growth rate for Prismatic Evolutions products is very high compared to some of these other products that, if I were to buy some of these boxes at their current prices, I feel like the gains really wouldn't be worth it, and I just felt like Prismatic Evolutions had the biggest potential. So that's why I invested into Prismatic Evolutions, because I really only saw opportunity there, because everything else is just I don't feel comfortable buying these, especially, we recently got news of the reprint thing. So with that possibility, knowing that these are going to get reprinted, I don't feel like really buying any of these. So in this video, just want to go over pretty much each set, what the booster boxes are going for, what elite trainer boxes are going for, and why I believe all these are not really the best buys right now. And that's why I just am not investing, because I don't know about you guys, I don't know what you guys have been buying, but I know a lot of people have gone towards the singles game, especially now things are so volatile. Like, you can buy a card, it can like triple. I know some people are getting to that whole thing. It's a little bit more risky, definitely. But in terms of sealed product, there's really not much to buy. Obviously, I can sit here and go back to Sword and Shield and say, oh, you can go buy Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, whatever. That's sort of obvious stuff because it's not getting reprinted. But in terms of Scarlet and Violet, there's not much to say. Like, seriously, just everything is too expensive. And if you're an investor, lots of these things really aren't good buys. So first here is Scarlet and Violet base. I remember during Black Friday a year ago, was it even a year ago, or was it? I don't think it was last Black Friday. These were $80, right? I don't think so. But at one point, you could buy these on eBay from a reputable seller for $79.99. I remember it vividly. But at the time, the market price was like $90. So it wasn't. $10 still is a decent discount if you do the percentages. But I didn't buy it. Why didn't I buy it? Because obviously now I look dumb. I mean, they're $190. But the market was different. In my opinion, like, it was like a base set. Market's not really good. Even though I can get it $10 under market, I'm buying it literally $80, which is probably under wholesale at this point. Since they've up the prices, and they've charged distributors more, MSRPs up. I still didn't buy it because I thought it was just that bad. I was like, you know what? Even if this is $80, I don't think it's gonna go much higher than $100 for a while. So I'm not gonna buy it. Obviously, not really good thinking, hindsight, but it took forever for this box to get to where it's at, but it's at $190. And it's crazy because if I bought it at $80, even with tax, what's going to be maybe around $85, I'd be up over 100%. And if you look at the year chart, you can see what I mean here. Like, this, I believe, is now 2 years old, I believe. Look at the prices. This was so cheap for so long. It also got reprinted. You can see what, and even at this point, like I said, this is around 2 years old. This is like a year and a half plus old. And it was $90. So it wasn't, I guess, a bad play on, I guess, in that way, because the time the sale was, I believe it was a little bit over a year ago. It was during Black Friday. And even if you do the math and all the way up until I would have held it, it would still been at $90. So it was not a bad thinking, but obviously now that it's this price, I look at them like, I really could have bought them literally infinite amount. Like, I could have bought so many for $80. And even with this base set, cards not really worth that much. Obviously, the drowsy situation, whatever, I would be up over 100% on this base set. It's ridiculous. Next here, Paldea Evolved. I don't have many of these, and the ones I do, I'm gonna keep because Paldea Evolved, I do believe, is a good set. Also, we have this reprint coming. And with this reprint coming, obviously now would not be a very good time to buy. But even with these reprint news, I've noticed like sales volume doesn't really change because, most of the market, they don't really hear or really, know about this whole reprint and whole investing. Like, this is a niche thing, so people will continue to buy these. But personally, with me, obviously knowing that they're gonna get reprinted, buying now is obviously the worst time because they're gonna go down in price. Eventually, obviously, how much are they gonna go down? Nobody knows, because it's possible it just dips a little bit, because in the past they did reprint this uh, booster box. It literally went down $10. It went from like 140 to 130, then jumped back up literally like in a week. So yeah, these obviously not buying, but if they do go down a bunch, it would be a good buy, and then I'd probably buy more. But as of right now, at this price, before even at 200, if the whole thing going around this whole space was that they weren't getting reprinted. 200 in my opinion wouldn't be that bad, but knowing obviously the reprint, it's not a good buy. Secondly, here I've always said this. I feel like this box is overpriced for what it is. You can't really pull much. Pull rates are easy, and this box is basically $200 at this point. This is getting reprinted. Same thing like Paldea. Obviously not a buy because it's getting reprinted. Next here is Paradox Rift. Now, Paradox Rift was sort of like, I don't know. It was really easy to get. There was so much supply of these, like you could readily buy them for $90 each, and now they're at 180. But this was more of an obvious buy than I guess Scarlet and Violet base when it was like 80, 90, because this actually has a lot more cards in it that are more valuable. But yeah, even at 180, these aren't in the reprint with the other stuff. I still think at 180 I wouldn't buy it because it's possible they don't reprint it, but I don't know. Paradox Rift at 180 is to me is a pretty hard buy, because I just remember this being like a $90 box, and Paradox Rift to me is a decent set, but at 180 I'd rather just wait for the reprint honestly and pick up some other box, because Paradox Rift at this price to me really isn't worth it considering some other boxes how expensive they are. I'd be willing to pay $10-$20 more for some other stuff, but Paradox Rift at this price is not a buy for me. Next here, Temporal Forces. Now, these recently just went out of stock on Pokemon Center. That was a good deal at MSRP. Now the market price is $175. Temporal Forces is not part of the whole reprint thing. So even at this price, honestly, it might not be the worst pickup. I feel like Temporal Forces is a better set than Paradox Rift in my opinion. So with it not getting reprinted, I mean, if you can find them for around MSRP, maybe some store or something, maybe it's worth buying some. Because it's possible that some of these sets like Paradox, Temporal, maybe they don't get reprinted. But it's still sort of expensive. But yeah, if you can find them around MSRP, I feel like it wouldn't be a bad buy. But personally, me not buying these. Next, Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade is in the low 200s now. This one's getting reprinted. Same thing. Obviously not a buy right now. And yeah, it's getting reprinted, so there's really not much to talk about. Next, Stellar Crown. Now, Stellar Crown, this one's not getting reprinted. It's $200. It's a very new set. This is like a pretty bad buy in my opinion. Like $200 for a Stellar Crown box is ridiculous in my opinion, especially with how much. Like literally, I've talked about it so many times. Nobody even cared to invest in this set when it came out. Nobody talked about it. Everyone was focused on Surging Sparks. And yeah, Stellar Crown now is $200. So yeah, Stellar Crown is not worth it at this price. You're better off buying Temporal, Paradox, even maybe like honestly. I feel like you're probably just better off, if you want to, spending a little bit more money and buying Paldea Evolved, even though it is getting reprinted, because Stellar Crown at 200 and being this new, I think in the future, it's probably going to get reprinted. It's pretty expensive for what it is, and we are seeing some newer sets get reprinted before some older ones, so I feel like Stellar Crown in the future will probably get reprinted, yeah, at this price point, with what is inside of here, I don't really think it's worth it, so Stellar Crown is a pass for me. Next here, obvious one, getting reprinted, not worth buying. And yeah, I mean, I already have some of these, so yeah, I don't really plan on really buying anymore, even when they do get reprinted, because honestly, I don't think they're gonna get that much cheaper. Because at 260, it's hard to see it dropping to the low hundreds. Like it seems pretty impossible, especially when the set is like 4 months old. So yeah, these definitely not a buy, but on the reprint, possibly. Now some of the specialty sets, 151. This still technically can get reprinted. Booster bundles have gotten reprinted of 151, but not Elite Trainer boxes. I made a whole separate video talking about this whole Elite Trainer box reprint situation now and how it's really different from Sword and Shield. But at 210, I mean, if you really think about long term, Like there are elite trainer boxes that I think are now close to just normal elite trainer boxes. I believe are close to, are they any close to 400? I don't know. How much are Shining Legends, elite trainer boxes? I'm not sure, but it's possible. You know, these in the future will be 300, maybe 400 bucks. I could see that happening. I think there are some around that range. You know, Hidden Fates is I think in the high 200s now. So in the future, if these don't get reprinted, it could be a buy right now. But if you think about, you know, percentages and all those sorts of things, and I feel like at 210, it's really a pass. You're better off, honestly, probably just buying booster bundles at that point, because if you think of price per pack, obviously, lead trainer boxes now it's over $20 per pack. Booster bundles are like 60 bucks, so it's like $10 per pack. I know obviously there's a seal nature to this, but I feel like it is kind of pretty expensive, and I'm not buying any of these. So yeah, 210 is pretty hard buy in my opinion. But if they don't get reprinted, it may be a good buy in the future. Now, Paladin Fates Elite Trainer boxes, same thing with 151 booster bundles being reprinted, not Elite Trainer boxes. So at 120, you know, Paladin Fates at 120, I mean, to me, it's a really hard buy at even this price because I just remember this set not really being worth much. And maybe just that's my, I don't know, stigma with this set. But if it's the same situation as 151 we're seeing here, this could possibly be a decent buy in the future, because it does have, you know, the bubble Mew. So it's possible 120 maybe isn't that bad of a buy, but for me, just I don't know. Paladin Fates is all right. I feel like Paladin Fates is a little bit overhyped for what it is. I know it has the bubble Mew and everyone goes crazy for it, but other than that, I don't really think there's that much in this set. I know there's a Charizard and Gardevoir, but yeah, I just think at 120 it's not that great. And lastly, here we have Shrouded Fable. It's above MSRP officially. Shrouded Fable, I remember when these were 30 bucks, and now they're MSRP. At this point, you know, I know some people say that this will not get reprinted, so therefore, I mean, buying MSRP probably isn't the worst idea ever, but I still don't like Shrouded Fable. I don't care how much people say it's underrated and it's going to be this sleeper set. I don't believe it. I think, yeah, it'll go up, but I feel like there's better places to probably put your money, and I'd rather honestly just sit on cash than buy Shrouded Fable Elite Trainer boxes at MSRP. So that's just an overview of the prices of everything and why I'm not investing. I know that whole title probably made you guys seem like, you know, I'm not doing this anymore, but no, I'm just not spending money. I've already spent obviously a large amount of money on Prismatic. So I'm kind of done buying right now. The only thing I guess I have that I've invested into, I guess that I've spent money on, is my pre-order for Journey Together booster boxes, which hopefully I get some sort of, tracking information in the next couple weeks, because I bought those for under MSRP, and right now the prices for those is like 240, 250. So we'll see if I get those. Hopefully I do. Hopefully I don't get refunded, but hey, it'll just be, I guess, extra cash. But I'd much rather have the booster boxes than have just the cash, because obviously I'll already be up on those. But yeah, not investing into anything. If I were you guys, I'd probably, at least for modern stuff, like I'm talking about Scarlet and Violet stuff, I mentioned it before, Prismatic Evolutions, in my opinion, if you can find under market, like Facebook Marketplace or something, that's really the only thing I can think of that's worth buying right now, because everything else has gone up so much, and I feel like the growth rate for what everything's at right now isn't very high. The only thing I can see is Prismatic. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's why I've done what I did. Like, I knew that, okay, all these prices, I wasn't going to really buy anything, so I'm like, okay, what's the best option to have? In my opinion, it was Prismatic. So, yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. I'm not investing right now into anything. Have my pre-orders for Journey Together. For Destined Rivals, I don't have anything. I know some people were able to pre-order from the Forge and Fireplace. When they had them available, they called them the Glory of Team Rocket. That was when we thought the set name was going to be the Glory of Team Rocket, but obviously that was on the Japanese side. So didn't get any of those because at the time, I even made a video about it. I got kind of, some people didn't agree with me with them putting out pre-orders like 5-6 months ahead. But yeah, I haven't got any pre-orders. So obviously, if you pre-order from them, you're probably, I've heard they're reputable or whatever, so you'll most likely get them. And obviously that would have been a really good play to give them that sort of, loan that, people that, I'm not a fan of, but it would have been smart, because if you look at Journey Together, how expensive those booster boxes are, that, I guess, interest-free loan you give, you gave that place for those boxes, if you do actually get them, that sort of loan would have been a very smart thing to do because, I've mentioned it before. I really could see those booster boxes being close to $300 on pre-order, and if you bought them at MSRP, well, you're already like up, double your money on paper. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Just want to do this overview and talk about why I'm not investing anymore in the Pokemon, at least right now. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.